hours to do that. So that's a lot of time.
No,
Yeah. If you have to do each by one, because I did both classes.
have it anywhere.
Just to input the name, the label, every single, it took me 4 hours to do both four classes, so that's intense. It's worth it once you do it, but it's like, I think I buy more than what I can chew. So it's like, this is a huge hamburger and I try to bite it and, but, it's just, different process, but anyway.
Okay, so we'll talk about what you did. So, for Spanish 1, we're gonna go ahead and talk about our midquarter exam, and specifically looking at 10 questions to see how students do all the 10 questions. I did 2 classes, period 5 and period 6, so those are my students that were using for my essay.
So everything is written by them.
Yeah.
Individually.
And then,
These are all.
so I broke it down with all the questions, and I haven't used my tracker yet. I only typed in my students' names to see, but, so that's my next step that I have to do. I just did all the data and I did it by hand. And it was, then I figured out, why am I putting all the right answers? So then on the other one, I just wrote the answers that were, the wrong, so I could see exactly what they put. So what I did was I just wrote down the questions that we were looking at specifically, and then I looked at every single exam itself, and then wrote down what they had put. And then that I was able to see who got it right, but then most importantly, I think the goal was to see who got it wrong and then what answers they got and why they got those answers. So then I was able to go back and see who got it wrong and what questions it was, and then out of those 2 points, what was the average as well. So that was the real simplified way that I did it. So how was your info that you did?
Mine was a very complex way because I include every single student. I use a tracker like we have. And I did it twice. I did 2 classes, and then I typed every single question. I did the whole test except I include every single question because I realized if we choose 2, it doesn't give me a whole perspective of what's going on. So I did every single questions all the way to here, and then the Spanish give 10 points. So I put the writing. So I want to see how they do it for the writing because I want to do that for the SLO. So what I find out is the tracker that
So you looked at every single question, not just
yes. So, but I can check the ones that we checked, we said we're gonna do, because I realized that it will give me a perspective of the whole unit. If only 2 got it, we choose 2 out of 10, the first one, the A. What if we choose 2 that everybody got it right, and then there is so that everybody got it wrong? So how do I know it's representative or not? Because I see that a lot of students have problems by doing all of them with 10. I can see a lot of students have problems with 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Because this is, and now I have to change it. It's 8% or 7%. I never change it. So based on that, this program, I like the fact that gives me the ones that approach each one of them. So I did that, but it took, like I said, it took a lot of time. I had to put in 0 or 1 for each one of those. But that's where, but it gives me an idea, well, this is my good class. I'm pretty good. But then, this other class, which is my other class, you can see the gray, green and blue. And they didn't do as well. Okay. You can see a lot of.
But it's not in alphabetical order.
The other one was a lot of. That's a word in the code.
So Rocio, this is a tracker that we're using, and so you can see on here like the one that's in the orange is the one that's not reading, and then all the green, yeah, so it coordinates it, and then it's
The yellow is also the one.
It's below 80, because this one's set on 80. So whatever you set it.
Approaching. So right now it's not, we're using the setup. I think it's 70 or 80%. It's still not set. It's like, that's period 1. And that's my, I knew that it's a this class, but then once I put it here, and then the other class.
Oh, that makes sense there, because you're on there.
Which
So
is.
the tracker highlights what? The tracker
color codes for proficiency, non-proficiency in different colors.
For each item.
Yes.
I called them yesterday.
I'm sorry, I just have so much, but I thought, well, if I'm gonna spend time because of the long weekend,
No, actually,
I had the extra time to input the, but I realized it's a little too much to do every single one. But I just wanted to have, in my mind,
Because
I had the idea that my period was
placement.
smarter, and yes, you can see it. I
Your
don't know.
analysis, yeah.
You can see it here that my spot, my
So we
period
have to
three
figure out
had a
what is
few orange and yellow, but a lot of
Proficient
green. So I knew that class is a
based
very
on
strong class,
readiness.
so this just
So for
proved it
each
to
one,
me,
right?
and
Yeah, that's right.
they still have
Overall,
alternative
I have to classify
agreement
all these
on
kids
gender and
as
gender
approaching
for
for
the
arts level.
colors. The first section, they
Or-
actually struggled the most, everybody that could out, select the right color, and so that wasn't
Yeah, that's right. I don't
interesting,
know what it is.
but still is,
But if I need your guys' help,
I still don't know how to use it, if it's correct or not, I'm gonna change the target, because I didn't change the percentage, we say it's gonna be. So, because 80% is a little high, but it's just, I just used the default, and it just gave me an idea, like, okay, my period one is really good at 80%, so no way I'm gonna reach it. And I haven't identified my students I'm gonna work with, but I know those two classes I'm gonna work with, and also this tracker, I include 0 or I didn't mark, if you don't mark those who were absent. If you put absent, it's gonna remove it based on the instructions you gave me, but if you don't do anything, it's gonna mark it like a 0. So it's against, so we're gonna see the change. Here, I don't know if you can see it. I just right here, absent. This, change. It does, it takes, it removes the student, it's not part of the data, but the percentage, so
Yeah.
which is.
And the thing I like about this tracker, it gives you like the median or the overall mastery of the class. And then also
Placement is down one.
the testing. So, this is what I used my first year.
Or no?
But,
But we can analyze this.
yeah, so mine is only the 10 questions we had
Let me
agreed
get
to
those 10
because
questions.
I thought that
That's,
was
I
good for my
couldn't
students.
finish that anyway.
That would have taken me
See, I know.
8 hours.
I know, that's what I realized that
Yeah.
it's, I mean, it's wonderful, but
No, they use their words.
it's too much time, I just
Yeah,
don't have it.
and to me, I also, while I was doing it, there are some students that I wrote, like next to it, like, this one got it wrong, but all others were correct. So
Yeah.
I kinda noted it, like, on my thing, like, oh, we got this one question, but all the other ones were correct. So I don't know why. So, do
That's
you
what-
want to talk, a little bit more about the results that you found, maybe?
25.
or-
Well, yes, okay, let's just start with the section A, you know, because section A is mostly non-adjective agreement, and that's the one part that they struggle
Mhm.
at the first part, at least for these students, and I realized for A1, almost everybody got it right. 78% got it right, so it's not everybody, 78%.
So what do you want me to say for trends? Almost everybody got which one?
No,
It's the same thing for the people.
for,
No.
like, the first, the A, the
Oh,
agreement
yeah,
of
yeah,
noun
yeah,
and adjectives, and that's gender and number. All the students struggle with those, so the first one, they did better than the second one, so A1 was better results, in my case, than A9, I don't know, that's.
Students struggle with
When we
non-adjective agreement.
No.
we figure out how we
I
did-
would say
yeah.
my
Give
students
all
did
these
not
three
struggle
tests back,
with the, what we're trying to say
But
is they
this year,
struggled with
almost
the
figure out
second
baseline.
one, which
It's not
was
like we're gonna do this
A9,
again.
question A9, which was plural.
It's not like we're gonna do this
So,
test again, so you can
most
do
of my
it.
students are the
So
same,
we're gonna
where
give them this test to
they,
see if
almost
you-
all of them got
Right.
question 1 right, not 5
As well
last, so
as,
they
yeah.
could chose any color and just made it feminine,
So should we
right?
maybe
But
with
then,
these?
number 9, unos zapatos, like, they could have chosen any color but made it plural.
So they didn't make it
They didn't make it plural.
Oh, so it's a common trend.
Yes, so that was the one question that I wrote down, Cause, from my sixth period class, I had 17 out of 26 students got it wrong. One of them just spelled it wrong, like she made it plural, like she knew it's plural, but still misspelled.
Or we could do this.
So, and then, out of my 22 students that took the test in period 5, 13 of them got it wrong.
We wanna use
So, that was the most missed question that we analyzed, so. I think it was, whenever you see it in the other questions, it's okay. But here, I think what happened was them having to actually choose a color and then taking that color and making it plural and masculine. You know, zapatos, amarillos, rosados, azules, negros, verdes, or blancos were all correct answers. But they got, you know, like, most of them did it single, like blanco or verde or, you know, like they just negra, you know, but most of the students who got it wrong and their answers were singular. So it was not, not making it for like amarillo, blanco, negro, you know, like most of the ones that got it wrong because they
Didn't know how to make it plural.
So that was one, that was what I found that was the most common trend out of the 10 questions that we actually looked at.
Yeah, me too. So, and it's because it's different. In the other ones, they had to choose, pick and choose. In this
So
one, they
make
had
our
to
practice
really
videos
write it
better.
down. They had to, it's a more higher level, so they had really to apply a higher level. And that's what is so interesting that, yeah, from all of them, this is the one that, in my case as well, I struggled the most.
Because from the other ones, because we looked at
Right, rather than having it called a practice
different
test.
non-additive agreement
Practice test, nothing.
questions, like there was 3 questions that were on non-additive agreement, and that's the one they missed the most, and then,
Mostly, yeah. Mostly.
but on the other ones, they got it right, so you know, like, especially the one where they got to choose, then they knew to look for the S's or the I's or the T's. But, for this one,
and then each
because
service
they
will
had
use
to
the
choose it
sword that
and
they
then
have
apply
on
it,
it.
I guess that didn't really connect.
So
And that will affect later on when they start
proficient will be
writing.
the same.
The writing is on it.
What was the
What is
difference
it?
between
What
the
is it?
two?
This one's non-additive agreement singular. This one's non-additive agreement plural. And then this is, gender. So,
Look at it later on when they
you
get it
have.
right.
I don't like how.
So the choices made it better?
Actually, I don't know what the match score is.
No, see, it's just this one was harder, cause this one, la falda, like, amarilla, rosada, azul, negro, negra, verde, blanca, the thing you eliminate. But this one, for some reason, they didn't make it plural masculine. It was either singular, well, most of the students who got it wrong just left it singular.
Yeah, that's what it is. We still
So
understand.
that's what, making it plural was the hard part.
For
That write it out, because if they see it, they can
Yeah.
identify it. If it's a multiple choice, A, B, C, or D, they can do it by itself. But if they have to write it out, like express it, that's when they struggle at a higher level. And that's why I say that's the part of the writing, that's the learning. So that's the area they still need a little more practice.
Yeah, so I figured I'm gonna just try to do some more activities because our goal was to look and see, okay, what are the trends, what did we find? There were only like J2, which was a reading comprehension one. I only had like, 6 students get it wrong, but I feel like those 6 students probably, you know, like.
6 out of 20.
Oh, we don't care about seats.
Well, from this one, from the 22.
You want
But, I figured that it was because it's vocabulary, you know? Juan Antonio es una chica, un señor, una señora,
We
or un
wanna see.
muchacho.
Oh, we know $2.99 is.
You know? So, I mean, I feel like
We're approaching.
una chica, like they were just guessing. Un muchacho, and un señor.
Yeah, there are people that are 74 and they're like,
In my case, Yeah,
Yeah,
but
two-
I agree with
276 is
you. The
what we
reading,
know.
that's the other part that they struggle with, which is like
276
A9 and
is what we
G2.
know.
In my case, really G2 more than, G2 and G1 is the same in my weakest class. 66% of students got it right, based on those who took it, so that's a pretty high number. And I think it's because they still haven't mastered the vocabulary now to identify the vocabulary.
Right.
Yeah, another trend is vocabulary, they haven't remembered here.
Cause if
Master
honors kids
or
are
adjectives.
In this case, what's
Now,
now?
Yeah, but it's gonna be 2 against 1.
Yeah, cause my, my school was at like 33 kids, but they're.
And you know, this year I usually give them a quiz
Yeah,
that
but-
has like el policía, el maestro, like those are the vocab words. And I think they're doing that quiz this year.
Yeah, but.
So I wonder, because I didn't give them a quiz, they were like, oh my gosh, I learned these words more than they did in the previous years. So I don't know if that's something, I'm pretty sure that, you know, because we didn't focus directly on those words in that aspect of like, I gotta learn them for a quiz, and hopefully they stay.
Well, we're still looking at it.
Like why they didn't.
Yeah, and it's vocabulary last quarter too, you know. This is midquarter, so it's really going back to review. They also, yeah, that's the last quarter. So you also could be the fact that they study for that quiz or they forgot it. They just don't have it in the long-term memory, which the problem with our classes is if they don't
Oh, yeah,
recall
I'm
it
gonna
back,
keep this in here.
it will hunt them too.
No repetition.
Yeah, enough repetition. And even if there's, like, I have 3 or 4 special ed kids that if we really beat
Yeah, a
them,
lot of them did.
they try to need other teammates or extra tutoring outside class.
A lot of them were.
But yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, that's why
not.
I like it.
And more time.
Yeah, but my students did really well on their exams. Like I had like from the students from those 10 questions, like from my 6th period, I had like 6 of them get all 10 right, 14 of them get 9 out of 10, and then 4 get 8 out of 10. So for my 6th period, I had to look at the students who got a 7 out of 10, and then I looked at their actual exam, and like Charmaine, she did pretty good on the rest of the test. It was just that one, you know, so I felt like she was okay. But then Kobe, he got 7 out of 10, but Kobe didn't do so well on the exam, so I figured that he'd be one of the students that I'd make sure to focus on for 6th period at least, because, like it's kind of consistent that he didn't really do that well. And then for my 5th period class, I had, the students still did well, like I had 7 get 10 out of 10, 6 get 9 out of 10, 4 get 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then I only had 3 get 7 out of 10, and then I actually had 1 student get 6 out of 10, and she turned in her exam last. So, that was something I keep concerning, but she was like working on it, so she, I don't know, you know, what the cause was, but she worked on it like the whole period, and yet got a whole bunch of answers wrong. So she got 6 out of 10. And then one boy actually got 5 out of 10 wrong, and he didn't do so well with his exam. So those were the 2 students that I was gonna try to see if I could focus on in class. And then in GCPS, so just working with them and just getting, whenever I go back now, I'm gonna try to do like some of my groups. And so my goal is for us to, obviously we have to move on. Quarters almost over, and we still haven't gotten to family yet.
We're sorry
And
for
so,
the years.
and so, but I feel like we still need to address these issues and make sure that they are, you know, solved, because like, they have to know it, like,
No,
you can't just say, oh, well, if they didn't learn it, they didn't learn it, like, they have to learn it. Review, but, do more of a, I think I'm gonna try to do an activity, which I'm gonna try to do it like where I group the students, like, so a sort of grouping, and then an activity to kind of help us go over it, and, not just do the same thing over, like, okay, do the worksheet, but do another sort of activity that would be a little bit different. And I think, maybe I was thinking about putting like vocabulary words on the board, and then getting them to like, kind of like this, because I feel like they never practice this also, so you have to have done something, you know, where, because usually that's in the way.